I think that on some level now we have folks that otherwise would be doing other things trying to do stuff. And because we have an algorithm based social media experience, they're like, okay, I need to make things that people will like. So then they'll see the things that I want to make. But then quickly, you spend all the time making things people like, and you don't get to do the whole reason you're doing it in the first place. Or just sometimes you want to get the clout so you can have an excuse to do something you want to do. I don't know exactly what the reasoning is, but I feel you. There's times like there was a period when TikTok had just started, or maybe I don't know what it was, but when it was, I'm not on TikTok, but when it would kind of bleed into Twitter, where people would share these videos of like someone being like, "Oh, look at this amazing photo I made." And there's like one
Hmm.
dude, I don't know what his name is, but he was like, I just kept seeing his videos all over the place of like I cut a hole in like a paper towel roll and like
Yeah.
shot paint out of it. I was like,
There's
what?
tons of
Why are
people
you
that
do?
do the same thing
Why
now.
are you
Yeah.
doing this, dude? Like,
Yeah.
who is this for? And I guess the most succinct way, since I'm just giving you all of the rap lyrics today, is in False Prophets, J. Cole says, I'm feeding to write the songs that raise the hair on my arms.
Yeah.
And I think about that all the time.
That's a great one.
That's the best way. Like, the hardest thing I think about for me is I always feel weird saying goodbye to people after I have this like really intimate moment or 2 hours with them, and I'm like, all right,
Sure.
bye.
Yeah.
It's really kind of a strange thing. But if that's
Like,
the hardest thing for me, and like people pay me for it, then cool. Like I've because of it, I've gotten to live in this weird area where I get to like sometimes work on commercial projects like the North Face thing that want to feel human, and then I get to work on some editorial things so I don't feel like an utter hack. And so I would just encourage the people that are doing the smoke bombs and things like that. Like you can grow out of those things, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes in a year you're like, I don't even care about photography anymore. That's fine.
yeah.
But like if you're gonna make stuff like, for example, if you're coming up and you're just taking like I'm taking pictures of attractive women, like that's my thing. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
great. Why are you doing it? Is it because you just want access to these women? If that's the case, maybe you bring a Polaroid and have them take a picture of you, or maybe you bring one of them and take a picture of someone else. Like, if you're going to do it, start to ask yourself, like, what assumptions am I getting at coming in here, and how can I push myself further to make different things? I think that people would be really surprised about what they might learn about themselves and why they're doing it. And sometimes you don't know. Back to that. Oh, go.
No, I feel like a lot of times people don't know. A lot of times, and there's nothing. I don't want it to sound like I'm hating on like a simpler purpose of creating something. Like a lot
Hmm.
of people can, simply want to create artwork that just makes them happy for whatever reason. And if it makes you
Hmm.
happy, then by all means. But I think there's a lot of people that fall into their why is creating for the likes. They create things
Hmm.
for other people to like. That is their why. That is
Hmm.
their purpose. And if you do that, then I do think that it can lead you down a lot of really weird paths and eventually get you to a
Oh
place
yeah.
where it just grinds against you. Like you just don't want to do it anymore and you leave. But I know a German photographer who his whole thing, I forgot who it is, but his whole style is just I document my version of female beauty. Like this is what I think female beauty is. And it's kind of like almost like a 1940 50s pinup but modernized. And that's all he does. Like he he knows I don't know for what purpose, I don't know, but he has a huge following and that is his thing. More power to him. But
No, what I mean is like I think good art has purpose and it has a point of view, right? And those two things can work together. And maybe it's not everything that you do. Like I just worked on a toothpaste commercial.
how
Whatever,
do you
dude. You
find
know what I'm
purpose in
saying? Like
that?
I
How do you yeah, when it comes to stuff
I'm
like
trying to
that,
get
how do
this
you
money. What are you talking about? Man, what's wrong with you? The purpose is that life is expensive and I need to make some money sometimes. But also for me and things like that, this toothpaste commercial was um, an opportunity to work with Black talent, and
yeah.
those times are important to me because I think it's valuable and important for soup for a really long time. I don't know if you've been to like a hair supply store before, but you're used to as you're growing up and you're young and you're Black and you're trying to find beauty products for yourself. Like Fenty is beautiful. 20 years ago, you're 9 and walking through the store and trying to get like wave cream or something for you, and they're like in these kind of weird packaging that's orange and looks bad, or it's in this one little section of the store. It's just like
Sure.
it's essentially like it's a much more toned down but capitalistic version of like this is the water fountain that you use, right? And until they are elevated and marketed properly, then it just feels gross and like an afterthought. And so when I my higher purpose in those is I'm going to nail this,
That's an
because
interesting way of
this
looking at it.
product is super helpful, um, for a for subset of people, for African American people, or it allows you to have a spokesperson for something that's generally something that's generic and for everyone. And for so long, generic and for everyone was just white people, and it still is. But we're attempting to pay attention to that. I think that knowing that I don't have a safety net, like I have to make what I need to make for myself and
Hmm.
like build whatever I want to build for myself, because there isn't like someone's money waiting for me, or a something I don't know about, being an immigrant, being an only child
For
of a single
sure.
parent. Like you don't, it's not just like casual playtime. And so figuring out how to mix that art with the capitalism is, I mean, the way I'm thinking about it, it is partially a coping mechanism, but it also allows you to try hard enough for it to elevate, for it to rise to the level that rest of your art is at. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
convince me that Alaska is important. Like you know that everybody sees it. It's like this is amazing. But
Yeah.
like, how can I make sure when it's hour 12 of this commercial I'm directing that I'm not just going to be like I don't even care.